Good evening, everyone. Can anyone hear me? Please let me know if you can hear me.
We can hear you. Good evening, please.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to class. We just have 62 students, participants in class. So I would encourage that we reach out to our party members, our fellow colleagues to join class. And we're going to get started at exactly 5:05. So you have 5 minutes to remind your other colleagues to join class so we can get started. Okay, good evening once again. My name is Dukas. Please, I'm going to be your moderator for today. I'll be moderating the class for today. Once again, you're welcome to class. Today, we're going to be talking about communication in politics. Please, can someone confirm you can hear me? So we'll be on the same page. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, please. You are loud and clear.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to go straight into reading our facilitator's profile before we give him the floor to go ahead with today's class. So our facilitator for today is nobody else but Mr. Kevin Akoji. Mr. Kevin Akoji is a brand engagement consultant, politician, public speaker, security commentator, social analyst, and serial mediapreneur. He ran for a seat in the National Assembly to represent Kogi East Senatorial District in the 2019 elections. He is also the country director for the SDG Radio and the founder of Climate Action Nigeria. He is a University of Abuja alumni and the prestigious class of 96 at the Nigeria Defense Academy, where he trained as a Master in Defense and Strategic Studies, an avid martial arts enthusiast, climate reality leader, and alternative dispute resolution practitioner, member, Board of Trustees, Electoral College Nigeria. Kevin was born into a family of 4 siblings in total. He is Catholic and married with 2 kids. You're welcome, sir. But before I give you the floor, I would love to say that as the class goes on, I know that as students, we're going to have questions coming up. So please, if you know that you're somewhere you can't speak, you can drop your questions in the chat box. But when we get to where you're going to ask questions, you're going to be asked to indicate by raising up your hand for you to ask your question. On this note, sir, you have the floor. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. I hope everyone can hear me.
Loud and clear, sir.
Beautiful. Please, do we have the slides? Hello? Hello? If you have the slides, so we'll just walk together through the slides. So
okay, sir. The slides will be up shortly. Yes, sir.
Okay. So political communication or communication in politics, our focus will be on social media. That is basically the summary of the class. But what we need to understand in a general perspective is that political communications are 2 major topics put together as one in this class. And we like to say political communication is not without. It has an element of psychology, which is what you put to play after understanding the theories of political communication, because you can't just communicate amiss, if I'll use that language. Sorry. Hope it's better now. Okay, so we'll be looking at psychology being a study of the mind and behavior. Mind and behavior, let's take note of that. Both conscious and unconscious phenomena that might come to bear when communication is taking place. That is one of the key things you should take note. It could be feelings, it could be thoughts, it could be how someone relates with you and the like. And so, back to the crux of the matter, political communication is a subfield in political science and largely concerns how information is spread, how information influences your behavior, your thought process, your actions, how information influences politics, how the information influences, indeed, policymakers, how information also influences the media, and now to you all here in class here, the citizens of Nigeria. This class hopes, or we're hoping that we'll be able to prepare you to become functional members of a political party, a public organization, your personal company, or should you want to run for office, to even be more prepared on how you be able to run and approach the idea of running for office. And then for those that will not be running for office, to even understand basically how these things will take place. Because it's one thing for someone to campaign, and it's another for you to understand what the person is campaigning about. So we want to make sure that everybody are on the same table. And in political science, we like to define power as he who gets what, when, and how. So for us in communication here, in this political communication class, or communication in politics, we want to draw a line from this definition of power by Harold Laswell by trying to define political communication as he who says what, to whom, when, where, with which medium, and what particular time. That's basically what we'll be exploring with regards to our class. And so, let me repeat, for us here in this class, we'll be defining communication in politics as he who says what, to whom, when, where, and with which medium. With this at the back of our minds, let's go now to a broader phenomenon which we all are, what will I say, are all conversant about, which is the internet. Our class will be looking at how you can explore a whole lot of the usage of the internet. And I always like to tell people that the first thing you should always remember is that the internet never, ever forgets. So should you think now you're a great guy, you're a great woman, playing with your Twitter handle, with your Facebook page, and posting what you feel at any time of your life, or for whatever reason whatever mood you are in, I beg you that you should please be cautious, because you will not know when it comes back to bite you. At least for now, we have seen how no matter what happens, you see when somebody comes and talks with the other side of his mouth, Nigerians, as always, as loyal as we are, will bring out screenshots, a million screenshots showing everybody. But sir, you said this 3 years ago in the last dispensation. How come you are saying this now? Are you trying to say that you are no longer the person you were at that time, and vis-a-vis now that you are making this conversation? So please note that the internet never forgets. And the people will always remember. Who are the people? Me and you. That's why we have screenshots. I don't know about you, but I can bet you that 90% of people in this class have one folder of screenshots that are ready to unleash whenever somebody says something or reminds you of something, or when your significant other says something and then you bring up the conversation in the future. But let's leave that on the side. Then we ask, who are these people? So Nigeria is divided into 774 local governments, 36 states, including the federal capital. Wherever you are, wherever you're located, you represent who the people are. And so if you represent who the people are, it behoves on you to be able to play your own role to the best of your ability as a citizen of the country and a citizen of wherever you will be that participating actively in politics. Or if not participating actively in politics, but actively consuming content with regards to the political ecosystem of your environment. And so we go now into more theory. What is communication? Remember, for this political communication class, we have defined political communication as he who says what, to whom, when, where, and which medium. So he who says what refers to an individual who releases information, or we call the person the source of the information. The source of information is showcased and spread. It now goes through a medium or a message or a channel. When it goes through that channel, it now hits you that is the receiver. That's you that is receiving the communication, which, like now as we're speaking now, I'm talking to you via this Zoom platform. And because you are tuned in, you are the receiver. And the communication process is a cycle with a Y, C-Y-C-L-E, such that when you speak, the other person receives the information, consumes it, and then reacts either equally opposite or contrary, or does not act at all. And then when that person is also trying to react or to act as the case may be, or not to act as the case may be, there's what we call the concept of noise, which is anything that can be happening around the process. So take, for instance, we are 10 in this hall, and I say, Kevin bought a bicycle, and we run the communication around 10 people, there will be a distortion in the delivery to the 10th person. Why? Because either intonation, understanding, perception, feelings, psychological relationships, or mood between you and the person that is talking. And so those little things that will distort this communication are what we refer in theory to what we call noise. Later in the course of your classes, you get to understand the basic communications theories, which largely seeks to ensure that whenever you are communicating, your communication should not be amiss. Your communication should not be ambiguous. Your communication should be precise, straight to the point, and easily understandable. Easily understandable in the sense that without them understanding, it means your communication did not go through. So we talk also about the theories of perception, selective perception, selective retention, selective attention. So even if someone is communicating effectively and you're not selectively attentive to the person showcasing that content, you also will not be able to understand what exactly is being showcased or being said to you, as the case may be. And then the whole idea of the art of seduction comes in the fact that we're saying, okay, in politics, you are largely coming to sway somebody from his own ideals, values, to come and join in yours. And it could be in a way of soliciting for your vote, soliciting for your financial support, for soliciting for a whole lot of things. So that's why the whole idea of psychology, I said earlier on, cannot be removed. Because without that psychological part, a whole lot of things will be amiss. So now, throwing it back to our head, remember, this class is a subfield of communication and political science, and largely concerned with how information is spread and how information influences politics, policymakers, the news medium, and we the citizens. The primary concern here is responsiveness or engagement, which is what comes up when you share or communicate within and or amongst each other. And then going lastly to when we define political communication as he who says what to whom, how, and what effect. So always have that at the back of your mind. With that at the back of your mind, let's delve into the idea of social media and then the internet, and then do some historical background with regards to communication in its entirety. We all know the www, that's the World Wide Web. And the World Wide Web has come to stay. And so we expect that should anybody be trying to communicate whatsoever, some basic underpinnings should be at the back of your head. Take, for instance, www.inec.org.ng. I'm just giving this for an illustration, for example. It's the election management body for Nigeria. Imagine if their website was www.independent-national-electoral-commission-nigeria.com. I know that a good number of persons might miss out a text or two, and you might end up not being able to get that website. So what do they do, or what will you do in this case? Is to make sure that you set up either an acronym or you choose an acronym that will basically reflect what you are trying to say, and then make it easy for people to consume and remember. And so your URL address needs to be short, precise, and straight to the point. And so, like when I was running for Senate, my website was simple and short, www.akojeforsenate.com. No, Akoje for Senate is a great guy, he will win.com. No, because you are already creating an interesting environment. Remember, in also using the website, you need to ensure that you have your security certificates. I'm sure most times we use our mobile devices and open some websites and they'll say the security certificate has expired, and to show you that X sign telling you that this is danger. So that danger is for you to run away because the site might not be secure. There could be people that are trying to access your device via phishing links on that same page or the like. And so we enjoin you that should you be even trying to create your website, please do not forget the security certificate, because imagine that, let's use the Nigerian political parties. APC political party website, beautiful, lovely, but they do not have a security certificate. All I need to do as an ethical hacker is to go to the website, hack the website, and then dump my personal videos of myself in the shower and leave it on their website. You come to feed yourself on that website. What will you think, or what impression will you have of the ABC website being taken down, and what you see on the entire page is either happy hour videos or Big Brother Nigeria just being showcased on the APC political party website? So you see what it means by why you need to ensure that your security certificates are intact. If not, you will be able to, you end up miscommunicating to people. Then we talk about microsites. Microsites in case of Twitter, now X, and what have you. So note that should you open a website, the name you're going to use for that website should be precise, concise, and straight to the point so you can understand. The content tabs in that website should be such that people will also be able to easily navigate from the about us, information, creed, who are we, our management team. It should be very easy for someone to be able to consume. So we always like to use the election management body's website as an example. If you open INEC's website, you will notice that to a large extent, the information that is shared on that website is straight to the point and easily navigatable. And so you are not going and you're trying to look for a whole lot of things, especially when you talk about the continuous voters registration option, or you want to verify your voters card, or you want to find out the list of political parties that we have in Nigeria. So you can see that a whole lot goes into actually creating a website. It's not just a case of you just waking up and then you pop something up and then you call it a website and you're proud of it and you move on. Same way with search engine optimization. Me and you know that Nigerians, we are not patient. And so if you do not optimize your website and I come to search for it using any search engine and your website is appearing on the 20th page, both of us know that Nigerians will not scroll to the next page, looking for your website. The moment we don't see it in the first 2 pages, in short, we are no longer looking for your information. We have lost the zeal to seek any information about your existence or whatever it is you stood for. Then adverts and promotions. We now see an extensive use of mobile apps, extensive use of internet-generated apps, mobile ads popping up on your phone, when you're on some websites, or you see toggle pages saying you are the 50th winner, click this to win this coupon and all that. So all these are things that happen on the web, which we should know and understand. Remember, in trying to define communication, we say there's a source, there's a medium or a channel, and there's a receiver. And so when this information has gone out, it needs to pass through something. That something is going to pass through is called the medium or the channel. And we have different types of channels. Let us go back into the days of old where we had a town crier moving around the market square or through the village, hitting a gong and saying, the king wants to see us today by 6 p.m. It's a burning, pressing issue that needs to be discussed. Everybody comes to the market square. That is communication being done in its remotest or in its decent and rawest state. And then before you think this is old school, these tools are still being used till date. Take, for instance, you are trying to do a town hall meeting. A town hall meeting is something that takes place in a constituency, in a particular ward that exists in a local government. And we know, unfortunately for us in Nigeria, we do not have electricity in 336 states or all of the states of the Federation. We only have electricity in select locations and all that. So you need to ensure that you explore the adequate means in which you can send your information out to persons using whatever medium. When people consume different mediums and they make mention of you on their platform, we call this mentions or on-end or end media. So that one is a different type of conversation altogether, but there's what we call end and on-end media. End media is when you carry your money, pay AIT and all channels and all that, and you do a proposition or you showcase an information. On-end media is when I'm in my house and I see something about you, and then luckily for me, if it's on WhatsApp, I copy it and I share it to another person. And the person now reads about me or reads about the electoral college, and they're like, what's happening now? You see, in that case, what we call on-end media or on-end mention, because in this case, it was someone that consumed the information and felt it was good for him to share with someone else that has a like mind, and he shared that information with that person. So you need to ensure that whatever packaging you are putting out should be such that someone can also share it from their own standpoint and where they are sitting to showcase what you stand for or what your organization stands for. So this largely underpins the importance of the information you are taking out and the medium in which it is going to be shared. Largely, the crux of the matter is the narrative you are about to push out. What exactly are you trying to put into the minds of the people? Psychologically swing them to your own appeal so that they'll do what you want exactly and not what they want. So you need to know and be able to control the narrative at any single time, because that is the essence of political communication. And that is the essence of the psychology in the communication part of political communication, because if you do not do that easily, you will have a challenge. Amongst the mediums in which people showcase information is social media. Luckily for us now, almost all the mobile devices that are sold in Nigeria and then where have you already have pre-installed social media buttons from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's now left for you to now go ahead and download the other ones that are relevant to you. But we need to understand that these computer-mediated technologies are largely basically set to facilitate the creation, sharing of text, audio, visuals, graphics, and what have you in a simplified form. Luckily for us, till date, most of these platforms are free. And so in Nigeria, I'll use the word alongside many other parts of the world, we are having a field day using all these mediums. Imagine that Facebook comes up next week and now say, we must pay a subscription to use Facebook, either $5 or $10. I can bet you that the subscription usage of Facebook will nosedive. Not that they will die out of the market, because largely we realize that a whole lot of people are very outspoken behind their keyboards, and so don't want to have that part of their life taken away from them, and so it will be there. So social mediums are one of the mediums in which you can showcase information from a source to a receiver. And we have multiplicity of mediums. In Nigeria, we basically do not interact a whole lot because we are where we are, and we are not in a hurry to go and download an app that nobody's using or you don't have anybody there. So you just stick to the major ones that you use. And so in trying to put them into some class of some sorts, we have basically put together 5 blocks. Apps that are good for networking, apps that you use for blogging, apps that you use for sharing videos, apps that you use for photo sharing, and what have you. For networking, we know that if you use Google+, Facebook, LinkedIn, you have a high probability of relating with somebody and expressing ideas using Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger and the rest of that, what have you. For videos, we have Vimeo, YouTube. For blogging, we have WordPress, Blogger, Movable Type, Squarespace, and what have you. For photo sharing, Facebook also inclusive, Flickr, Pinterest, Instagram. These are platforms in which you can share images easily. And you know that there are people are going to interact with it because there are people going to those platforms to go and seek pictures to use. The micro blogging pages like Twitter or Tumblr, like microsites that we talked about. So in understanding all of these platforms, should you, for example, want to showcase yourself in running for office of some sort, you know that the first thing you need to do is create your persona. After creating your website, next you need to create your professional page, which you can use LinkedIn to showcase that. You can use Facebook to showcase that with ease. And you can also create your Twitter handle where you'll be able to say a thing or two, showcasing what you stand for. So with your understanding of these particular platforms, you now get to know which exactly to explore. Remember, you are not doing this without. You are doing this with the thought at the back of your head that, okay, I'm in this particular location and I want to target the youth. And the youth constitute 60% of the population. And amongst the 60% of the population, 45% of them have mobile devices. And so should you be doing any publication on social media and want to showcase or promote them, you will do it in such a way that you target the audience of that location, because it does not make sense that you put a post and then you'll be targeting, take for instance, I'm running in Kogi East, and then I'm targeting Kogi Central or Kogi West, or I'm targeting my ad to Lagos State. It's basically a no-no, because it doesn't make any sense why I'm running in Kogi East and I'm putting adverts on Facebook and I'm targeting Lagos State, because my advertisements will be amiss and my funds or the budget earmarked for advertisements will be a waste because it is going to the wrong environment. So now I've understood while we need social media, we should not also fix ourselves into a box, because your understanding of the people you are trying to showcase information to is what determines the medium you use to share the information. That is very key. No matter what you want to share, you need to understand who is going to receive this information. And if you understand who is going to receive the information, you will know which channel to use. In talking about how information is moving from the source through a medium or channel and to a receiver, the concept of marketing comes to play. Remember, I told us earlier on about the concept of psychology. Now, the concept of marketing comes to play because in a marketplace, there are 1,000,001 persons, most likely selling the same thing and all gunning for your money. So take, for instance, now you come to an orange market. Obviously, as the name entails, orange market, there will be 1,000,001 people selling oranges. But many a times you hear people say, "What, I have a customer." Why did they have, or why do they have a customer? Because there's something that that person has done that aligns with them, or their beliefs, their ideas, or the amount of discount the person gives the person, or fisi in Yoruba, or gyara in Hausa, that the person gets whenever he or she purchases something from that particular location. So those are things that we need to put in our minds when we talk about the concept of marketing. And so, because it's a marketplace, or because you are showcasing information, you need to ensure that there are unique things that you will put. Let's use the word in kitchen language. Put the pepper and salt and sugar, so that whenever people are listening to your information, they are stuck there, they are consuming information, and you are swaying their minds in your own thought process so that they can follow them, so that they can follow you. That is why we say you need to understand the existence, or the need of why a marketplace concept comes in the whole idea of communication. One, the next you might ask yourself is, okay, why a marketplace? Or why am I even planning to run for office? Or why exactly am I even trying to understand why this man is on TV for the past 3 hours talking to me about INEC, or talking to me about voter registration, or talking to me about why he should become president, or talking to me about why he should become governor or local government chairman or House of Assembly member? The basic thing that they exist, a position to be filled, or a product to be sold, or a problem to be solved. So these are one of the issues why we need a marketplace of some sort. Or you can say, like we use in the general parlance, I have all the links, and so if I want to become governor next week, I will do it without any shake, as the case may be. Why? Because you have the links. And there's some other people, why are they taking up this role? Because they have a burden, a passion to express themselves. And they are saying, okay, regardless of what is happening in the political ecosystem, good guys need to be inside the ecosystem. If not, we have failed in its entirety as individuals, as citizens, as patriotic Nigerians, and what have you. Or do you think that, okay, after all, I'm 18 years, I've reached the universal age of franchise, which is to vote and be voted for. I've finished secondary school, university. I don't have a job. I might as well run for local government chairman, become chairman, and then sit down there and be paying myself salary and be eating money. So there are different reasons why people come into the market space, which is called market space called politics, and then try to do a thing or two. So in understanding all of this about the marketplace, we should know that there's a product that needs to be sold, or a service, or some value that needs to be exchanged, a price that is going to be paid to engage in this particular concept. Price in the sense that, take for instance, now if you are running for office, you're obviously going to spend money to buy a form. You're going to spend your time and energy to do or to pursue people's votes. You are going to buy t-shirts. If you are an election management body, you need to be able to do a budget for communication using newspapers, radio, television, mobile ads, and what have you. You know, so there's a whole lot that needs to be put to play. Then promotions, which is you trying to canvass in the marketplace, and then a location, which is indeed the the medium in which you are going to showcase this information. And so using those mediums, you now understand which one you use. So in talking about social media, we just want to restrict ourselves to Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Why we're thinking about these ones are because they are the easiest ones that are available to us, especially here in Nigeria. Please, who is managing the slides? Yeah, a little bit behind. Social mediums, yes, that's where we are. So you need to understand the mediums in which you are going to showcase using social media. Why we take this class seriously is because we will see it's the cheapest means to showcase information. With less than 5 MB, you have dumped something on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, as the case may be. Or you have posted an update on LinkedIn telling people you just got a certificate in dispute resolution, and then you are running for local government chairman. Our local government is filled with crisis reading areas. Your knowledge of dispute resolution will help you to resolve the crisis. So you'll be able to update and people will say, oh, this person actually takes himself serious with regards to this or that. And so we should also take him serious with regards to what he stands for. So these are the platforms that we're talking about for today, just the 5 of them. And we'll not delve into all of them in details, but what we want you to understand is that all of these platforms have their own basic governance principles. Should you post the content that you do not have the right to, you need to acknowledge the author, or you do not share that particular audio, or you do not share that particular visual graphic or animation. Because right now, we have what we call digital rights. It wasn't so much in Nigeria before now, but in the past 5 years, we've seen digital rights come to bear. And so someone will sing the Ngwa song, or you come and showcase it, and then you think you want to take all the glory for it. Or Davido will sing something about Bright Chimeze's song in the past, and then he wants to take sole custody and then enjoy the money that comes from it. No, it won't work. So digital right exists. National Copyright Commission exists. Copyright Commission exists on different levels, both nationally, that's Nigeria as a whole, and internationally. So if you want to take a test on this, take for instance, just pick any random video and post on YouTube without you be having any right to it. First thing you see is that the audio of that particular video will cease. YouTube will send you a message saying you do not have rights to this particular video or the audio content. Seek rights from the owner or take down the post. And should you delay in taking down the post, YouTube will take down the post. And if you do not take time and you do it continuously, they will take down your page in its entirety. So you need to understand the governance principles of this platform, because if you do not do that or understand that, you have a challenge trying to manage their usage. Same with sharing audio and picture. Luckily for us now, a whole lot of people have keyed into these platforms, and so you can see people's songs on the platform. So when you want to post something on Facebook, it shows you the music icon, and you can click, and you see songs that they've already been licensed for Instagram to showcase. So for every time you select somebody's song to put using your picture or your reels, as the case may be, a fraction of money is gotten. I don't want us to go into that. That hits the person's account because you use the song on Instagram or on Facebook or on X or on TikTok, as the case may be. So now that we understand the idea of governance principles, what do you want to post? Why do you want to post it? Does that post necessitate to go out now or later? Let's take a case where a case of flood. We need to understand that you are either reactionary, progressive, empathetic, or diplomatic in your communication with regards to certain phenomena. So, I'm the local government chairman of Mokwa local government, and flood takes place. What exactly will you prescribe as my communication technique when the flood takes place? Obviously, it's going to be reactionary. But what would have happened if you have, alongside NIMET or ACRESAL or all the organizations that talk about water movements and everything, done research and seen that this is a flood plain? And when the rainy season starts, people on this plain, you either need to relocate yourself or resettle yourself somewhere else until after the rains and come back and showcase this information to people so that they know beforehand, as against when the flood happens and then you now jump in and say, our people are sorry, please move to this place. to avoid the rains giving you. And then for those that have lost people, we are sorry that you lost people. May their souls rest in peace. No, that's not how it should be. So you need to understand your communication technique from beginning to be able to know how to be able to sway the minds of people, how to be able to manage the minds of people, how to be able to sway them to join you in your own emotional appeal, and then you move forward. We don't have time in this class. That's why I'm not going into details into all the applications. So just move all the way to questions to ask before posting on social media. Just shift the slides continuously. We all use Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, LinkedIn, and all these platforms. Take your time and understand the governance platform, the governance techniques of this platform, how many texts you should post, how you can create a thread so that if someone is reading something, they don't have to scroll to the next page to look for the information to continue. They can just follow through. Or if you're writing on Facebook, if the text is so much, you write to be continued, or you put part 1, you make another post again, you write continued part 2. So the whole idea is, remember, communication is a cycle with a Y, so that there's a flow. And then not just a flow, there's an understanding, because it's one thing for you to dump information on Facebook, and it's one thing that information you are dumping is sensible and then can be consumed with ease. So before you make that post, like I talked earlier on, what exactly is the value you are trying to showcase in using that medium to make that post? Does this update speak to your target audience? Remember, I spoke about running for office in Kogi East and doing advertisement in Lagos State. Does not make any sense. So does your plan update speak to your target audience? Is the topic or theme of this your update related to what you are showcasing? And then does the update match the best practices of the platform or the medium you are going to use? Take, for instance, now, you are using swear words. There's an amount of swear words that you showcase in a video, however, being that you are the one that created it and you want to post on any of these platforms, and then they'll take them down because the usage of swear words are not allowed on most social mediums. And so you see people trying to use different techniques to showcase that, but that is their problem. So you need to understand all of these questions. Ask them to yourself. You as an election management body, what are you posting about? You as someone that is running for office, what are you posting about? Me that I'm in this local government, in this constituency where this person is running for chairmanship, I'm seeing what he's doing and I'm saying, sir, this thing you are campaigning about, you're not supposed to campaign about it because you are a local government chairman. You can't be telling us that you will tell us that you will make our life better, you produce laws, you do this. A legislative activity or a legislative function is way different from an executive function. So we need to understand the dichotomy of both, because that has been the major challenge in individuals or citizens consuming information from politicians, because we do not know the left and right of whatever anybody's campaigning. They just come and then they spew a whole lot of rubbish to us, and then we enjoy it, especially if the person is charismatic, and we start saying, hey, or if the person comes and pays, take for instance now, 100%, person comes and then before the town hall meetings, bribes 90% of the people in the town hall. And so when the person comes in, the person will hear it, Sekai, Koba poster. Why? Because he has swayed the mob. We all know that democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. And in theory and practice of political science, we tend to call democracy a rule of the mob, because the mob is the total number of persons in highest number that are swaying the conversation in their side or in their own way, hence called a mob or called mobocracy, as we seldomly opine in class of political science. So we need to understand these questions I want to ask before posting on social media. And then remember, I talked about the governance pattern of this particular social media platforms. We need to understand what exactly is going to be your strategy. Should you want to use social media? Do you want to be able to engage in your audience? They reply you make a post, they reply you in the comment section, and then you reply? Or do you want to be posting on Twitter and then you write post by me will be signed by KE, and then post not signed by me, you'll just see CPS, Chief Press Secretary, trying to make a dichotomy between yourself, your own handle, and the content you are posting. Sometimes you need to even understand yourself. Does it make any sense? The page is Kevin's page, and I'm saying sometimes I post, sometimes somebody else posts for me. So you need to understand the strategy, or why exactly are you using this platform? Why exactly are you using this medium to showcase? Prioritize your objective. Develop the capacity and capability of your team. your media team, should they be the one posting for you? You don't need to tell me that your media team is posting for you. Your media team is supposed to understand your mind, understand your idea. And so if something happens, they've drafted the press release and shared with you. And because you know that you and them are in sync, you will not even review the information too much because you know that they know how you think and they know what you want. And so they'll go and post the updates. So these are the things you need to understand with regards to creating a social media strategy. Because if you do not have a strategy in place in using social media, you will make a mistake, or mistakes might happen. Or like the funny one that always happens, when handlers start posting on official pages, forgetting that it's not their own, especially when they are doing cross-posting. You are posting on Facebook and you click the button so that when you post on Facebook, the information should hit your Instagram page and your Twitter handle and your threads. And so you've forgotten that you signed in to the official handle on your phone. And then by the time you post, you just see that your Sunday evening picture at the swimming pool is showing on INEX Instagram page with you chilling. You know that for me, that's a disaster. So you need to understand the strategy you're going to use with regards to using the social media platforms, managing your correspondence, how do you manage your campaigns, how do you even filter what has taken place on your campaigns to even know how many people you reached, the audience, did they engage us? Because we have what we call analytic tools or social reporting tools that you can use to be able to understand, okay, today we put this information on Facebook. The back end, we can see that 500 people have seen it. We have 30 comments, 25 shares, 96 likes. All of those things that have come out now, using your reporting tool, you'll now be able to analyze further. The 96 likes that we have, 50 of them are from Kanke local government, 17 are from Sanga local government, 13 are from Mokwa local government. You have now been able to understand, okay, it means the information we're showcasing, people are understanding it within the confines of that state, of that nation, of that ward, of that local government, however you are. Remember, we talked about the marketplace. And so we talk about the idea of what we call social commerce comes in because you are trying to sway people's ideas. So now, since Temu is in the rave now, you might as well go to Temu, pay them $1 million so that whenever anybody opens the Temu app, your advert showing Kevin for president pops up in their face before they click cancel. Or you go to YouTube, pay YouTube for YouTube ads. And so anybody that opens YouTube at 7 to 8 p.m., which is the time you paid for, they'll see your ad pop up, the video ad, and they'll have to wait for 5 seconds before they see the option to skip. So these are the things that you need to put with regards to your social media strategy, because we prefer that you have returns on investment. Your investment could be your time, energy, money, and your data. Now, data is king now, like we all know. Nigerian data is very expensive. I don't know which country we're all going to move to now and go and enjoy cheap data, because without data now, we basically are going to be stranded in this country of ours. So you need to have effective returns on your social media. And so when you have a strategy in place, it will be easy for you to manage. So the next thing we go back to, when we talked about questions to ask yourself before you make a post. So when you must talk, what are the things that should come to your mind? Remember, we talked about communication, political communication is he who says what to whom, when, where, and with which medium. You need to know how to talk. In understanding how to talk, you'll be able to have a bold idea of the information you are facing. And so when you understand how to talk, it helps what you want to speak. Next is when to talk. When do you want to speak? What are you speaking about? Next, who to talk to. Remember, we talked about that update, that plan update. Is it valid? Is it such that it's going to be of value to the people? Then also in this conversation, what are the mannerisms of your speaking? We like to use Barack Obama sometimes, and we notice that sometimes when he goes to make a speech, sometimes his suit is off. He's not wearing the blazers. Or sometimes his sleeves are folded. Sometimes his sleeves is down. Sometimes he has his tie on. Sometimes he has no tie. Sometimes he's wearing a jean. Sometimes he's wearing a chinos trouser. Sometimes he's wearing a shoe. Sometimes he's wearing a canvas. So in communications, mannerism involves a whole lot, either the way you are looking or the way you are showing eye contact and what have you. You know, so a whole lot is involved. Next is, what medium are you using? Are you using social media? Are you using mass mediums for TV, radio? Are you printing flyers to showcase the information? Then, lastly, controlling the narrative, which we spoke about earlier. Whatever communication you are reeling out should be such that you must seek to control the narrative. Next is how politicians and the electorate communicate. So, remember, I've talked about he who says what to whom, when, where, and with which medium. We have that in place. We are talking political communications, and so we need to actually talk about the fact that we have a broad range of players or stakeholders, as we call it, and they include election management body, political parties, individuals running for office, party officers, and the constituents. These broad outlines of 5 stakeholders are what we are analyzing in how we relate with each other in the political ecosystem that we are all in, or that you find yourself. And so we start with the political party. The Nigerian constitution is such that we do not have independent candidates. And so should you be wanting to communicate for whatever reason in politics or to assume a role as a politician, you need to have or join a political party, and such that when you join that political party, you now become her flag bearer. And then when you become a flag bearer, the information will be communicated to the election management body, who will now showcase it and say, okay, the person X is the flag bearer of this party for this particular rule at this point in time. And so in this case now, the political party is the vehicle in which you are showcasing yourself. Then we need to understand the political process. What happens in the political process? We have voter registration, we have voter verification, you know, as what we call our own CVR, continuous voter registration. So after that is done, the election management body will now call for a time for campaigns, where parties will do their campaigns. But starting from primaries, after primaries, INEC will be present there to ensure that they follow the rules to the letter. And then should there be any disputes, INEC is live there and they can be able to mediate and what have you. And then from the primaries to the election proper, where we have sole candidates representing the parties for different positions, and then the date for the election proper, and then after the election, the time in which the election results called out, the time in which people will receive their certificates of return, and should there be election disputes, the duration in which election disputes can be reviewed. Because take for instance now, you don't expect to tell me that for the election that held in 2019, this is 2025, and someone is still in the election tribunal saying, I won 2019 election, I want to win, and you need to give me my mandate. On my mandate, everybody must stand because I won the election. No, there's a distinct duration or timeline in which election management disputes or election disputes will be treated, and then it will be closed. And then should that phase now go through, persons have now won office and they are now representing different constituents. How do you hold these persons accountable? Remember, we are giving us tools to be better citizens, better persons in political parties, better persons running for office, better citizens understanding the people trying to run for office to canvass their support. How do we hold these people accountable when they have now gotten to office? We have the whole idea of recall and referendum. At least we'll be able to see the part of recall take place in Kogi State when distinguished Senator Dilo Melai, a couple of people in their constituency called and said they wanted him recalled. We saw another case of Natasha Akpoti. I think Kogi State is taking the lead with regards to the whole idea of recalls. Other states, I guess your leaders are doing their very best and doing it well. So people are not even having a need to make a recall. We should understand that in political communications, there's no emotions to it. It's either the person is doing the job and serving the people or not. And so if you are not doing the job, we should hold you accountable. Political commission, we talked about town hall meetings earlier. A town hall is a place where both the politicians and the electorate can communicate and relate with each other. And so I do not expect an honorable member in the House of Representatives here in Abuja, and for 6 months, no, what am I saying? In a month, he has not gone to his constituency office to sit down for whatever reason, or he has not had meetings with his ward chairman or ward leaders, whether in Abuja or there in his location. Because what are you representing then in the National Assembly if you just live in Abuja and you only pick calls once in a while? Or you live in Abuja, you are a member of the House of Reps, but you are not in Nigeria. At least I'm not the one saying it now. We know the people who are guilty of this. If you watch any of the feeds of the National Assembly, either the Senate or the House of Reps, you see a whole lot of empty chairs. I tell you, not all of them are on leave. They're just busy representing their constituents in other places by other means and doing other things. And unfortunately for us, they are spending our money doing that and carrying our title doing that, So these are the mediums in which you can communicate with politicians and the electorate. Another one is letters. This is 2025, whether we like it or not. And then we're talking about political communication, social media. We know that there's an efficacy in sending direct message, that's DMs, sending emails, sending SMSs, or making calls. During the Not Too Young to Run movement, what we experienced that period was the so-called numbers of the people representing us in the National Assembly leaking. And then, in all honesty, it's not supposed to leak. Because if you go to the National Assembly website, every single politician in the National Assembly has a page. His name, his bio, the duration in which he's running, in which he's representing the people, whether in the Senate or National Assembly, his constituency office, email address, and a phone number. These are things that is required by all members of the National Assembly to submit to the National Assembly Service Commission. But guess what? Our people do not do it. And so, if you don't know the essay to the essay's essay and its PA, you might not have a direct link to your local government chairman or your House of Assembly member or the owners or your House of Representatives representing you in the House of Representatives or your senator. So during the Not Too Young to Run movement, we had this as an option come up where you see the number of your representative or distinguished senator, and you're saying, call them to vote. Call them to vote for increased youth participation in politics. Call them to vote for increased female number of seats for women to run for offices. So all of these are mediums in which you engage, or that the politicians and the electorate engage with each other. Because if we do not have an engagement, we do not basically have political communication. And remember, we are talking about political communication being a cycle. And then now that we have a cycle, information is coming out from here, whether it's going through conventional radio, TV, or traditional means, or digital mediums, social media, or websites. It's going to go and hit somebody. And when the person receives that information, he or she is going to act, react, or not react. Remember, the concept of not reacting is what people do not think or hold seriously, because your action not to react to a particular phenomenon actually speaks a whole lot. Not trying to be derogative when we say silence is best answer to a fool, but that is not what we're going to. But there are some things that you need to do that you do not need to talk about. You do not need to say. It's not every time that you must speak. Okay, I'm the president, and for every single thing that happens in the country, I'm talking and tweeting. No, that's why I have the DG of so and so place, the MD of so and so place, the honorable member on this particular committee, the House of Representative chairman on this committee. They also have roles to take, or the hierarchy of the Senate, either the Senate president or the deputy president or the speaker or the deputy speaker or majority leader or minority leader. Everybody has his own role to play in the entire circle with regards to showcasing information, especially when we are working along either party lines or in a state in a patriotic manner. So by the time we understand all of these things, and then a concept of what we call ethical responsibility of politicians, that is a part that in Nigeria we are not holding seriously, if I'll use that word. We are too reckless, or we do not care, or we do not care less, or we do not care enough in our political communication, which is why this class is of great importance, so that we begin to understand these things, however minimum or however small, and then continue to build upon them through the years to come, and then to when you now get to your own positions. And so for those that are going to be running for offices, I expect that you'll be creating your website, creating your campaign page, having a media team. If you have a good budget, you now have maybe a whole lot of money to do for your creating of content, either video, audio, pictures, graphics, and what have you. You're an election management body. You should be able to make sure that your website is brief, concise, and understandable. You should be able to ensure that the information you are putting out with regards to voter registration is such that everybody should know and at what time, So these are the things that we need to all have alongside ourselves in having the ideas of political communication. And so should you have any concerns, questions, or reactions, now is the time, because it's exactly 6 p.m. now. So we can trash through them as much as we can before the class finishes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. It's been educating, it's been insightful, and of course, you know that when it comes to communication in politics, it's something that cannot be overemphasized, right? The place of communication, not just in politics, but in every aspect of our lives. Thank you so much. It's always nice having you. So we're going to jump into the section of questions. So if you have any question, you can indicate by raising up your hand. And if you're anywhere you cannot speak, you can just drop it in the chat box and we'll read it out. So please just indicate by raising up your hand so that we can ask you to unmute and ask your question. Okay, we already have Mohammed Abubakar Turaki. You can unmute and ask your question. Mohammed, you can ask your question, please. I've asked you to unmute. Okay, if
Mohammed,
you're not there,
there,
let's have Ambassador Stanley. You can unmute. Stanley. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the lecture. Sir, would you be kind enough to talk a bit more about fake news, disinformation, and misinformation in political communication? Thank you.
Okay, so do we have another question? I think we should just pick it up and continue. Are we there, moderator? We have hands up. So let's just go to the idea of fake news. So if we want to trash the idea of fake news, what exactly is fake news and information dissemination? We talked last earlier of how you have your website and then imagine it's being hacked and your opposition now start putting their own information on that platform. You already have a problem. So fake news is the appearance of an unreal concept trying to be sold as real or valid. And so we're talking about voting. So remember I talked about earlier about the psychological nature of political communication. Imagine that you are running for office in a particular state with 4 local governments only. And then because you have a good media budget, you have your minions all set and posted. And then they are talking about he's leading in so and so and so locations, a whole lot. Or if you are watching CNN, you see how they are bringing out opinion polls. And then you, because you own CNN, you now sway the opinion polls to showcase that you are the one winning. It also impacts on the psychological state of your opponent, because right now you'll be thinking that we are doing so much in this particular local government, how come we are losing to the opposition? So what are the basic things first that will serve as a checkmate to these platforms? So if we're talking about media houses with the fake news idea, it means there should be a regulatory body that controls them. In the case of Nigeria, we have Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria. And so should we be broadcasting, regardless of the fact that we know that he who pays the piper takes the tune? We all know that if you want to listen to some particular news, there's some particular media houses you don't need to listen to. If you want to get some particular facts, there's some particular programs you should not listen to, because you know that the moderator of that program or the presenter is is already sold for and spoken about, So those are the things that we need to have in check. Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria. And then luckily for us, someone mentioned artificial intelligence. Luckily for us, we have data now on our hands. It is very simple for you to fact check any information. And so if someone should come and tell me that we have 794 local governments in Nigeria, I don't need to wait. I'll just Google how many local governments we have in Nigeria. It's 774. So why is this man lying to me that we have 794 local governments? And I've already checkmate the fake news. So we should not wait for either government or NGOs or large institutions to help us champion the idea of tackling fake news. We also stand, or we have to play a great role in this particular field because we are empowered with information that we need to check. Or in the days of old, when we didn't have internet, it was very simple. Either you write a letter to the office and then they reply you back via post and you reconfirm the information, or you're trying to get information from the local government and you can't get it. But for goodness sake, 200 naira from your house, if you climb by, you get to the local government office, walk to the local government office and reconfirm. Please, what is the state of this particular issue? We have been complaining, we are the people of this world, we have experienced flood, we have experienced this, we have experienced that. Why are they putting on the perspective on the news that we have been taken care of, we have been sorted, they brought flood relief money and it has been shared to us, and we that are here, the supposed beneficiaries, have not received it. But in Abuja, they are busy snapping pictures and saying they've shared the flood relief money. You can actually walk up to local government chairman and challenge these things. We Kudle always talks that local government is the handshake of democracy. That's the easiest place. Sorry to be derogatory in this part now. You can actually beat your local government chairman if he's not working, because his house is just beside you. You know when he was born, you know his brothers, you know his sisters. And so if they are busy peddling fake news about what they are doing in the local government, you can checkmate it right there and then. Or are you a councillor? You're a councillor of this ward, and they are saying so and so things about your ward, and you know it's not true. It's not left for you to come out true to the medium or to the media, either by printing posters, flyers, or using town hall meetings to express that this thing that they are saying about this local government is not true, it's not correct. So the whole idea of fake news, we can use both traditional orthodox, let's use unorthodox mediums to challenge fake news. And the onus of this particular responsibility is us. And for we that are the elites, because I call you guys elites, because imagine you have mobile devices. You guys are even so sharp, you have Zoom, you're even posh, you're sitting in your houses 20 kilometers away from me and you're consuming this information. There are people that do not have access to power, they do not have access to mobile devices, they don't even have access to data. So we that are enjoying this information and are learning this now, we have a point of responsibility or a duty to the other man that doesn't have TV or radio to tell him, see, za a fara zabe gobe. In baka sami voters card ɗinka ba ka je ka karɓi voters card ɗinka. As in, there's election coming up in a few days. If you've not picked up your voters card, please go and pick up your voters card. Reconfirm your location where you are going to vote and what have you. And then so that you will not be disenfranchised. So it's not enough for us to just sit down here, consume all this information, and want to hold it to yourself. We need to showcase this out, which is why we are called the college, hoping that we continue to churn out more and more students that are empowered with this information, and we continue to reach the nook and crannies of Nigeria and indeed the world with great best practices of how politics should be, how we should participate in politics, and how the institutions to relate to us. So do we have another question? Let me see the...
Okay, thank you, sir. Let me take another question from the chat. Okay, we have a question from NS on Duaka. My question is, during campaigns, contestants are asked to sign peace accord. However, they are not usually held accountable when things go wrong within the time frame. What's the essence of that peace accord?
Okay, so let's not lie to ourselves. Action needs to be taken. And the action that has been taken could either be reactionary, it could be progressive, it could be an empathetic action, or a diplomatic action, or just for wash, as we call it in Nigeria. And so, if you are in a political ecosystem where there's increased thuggery, negative reaction between the different parties, it's necessary that some level or some semblance of peace exists to allow for the institutional processes to take place, which is the whole idea of primaries, making candidates from candidates to going to the election proper. Because imagine that next month has been fixed for election, but all the parties in that particular state have not been able to hold primaries because talks have been disrupting all the location of all the primaries. It means the institution, in this case, the election management body, INEC, will not be able to discharge their constitutionally led responsibilities. And so, yes, a peace accord comes. Unfortunately for us, there is no, what language will I use? Save for the National Security and Civil Defense Corps and the Nigerian Police, which are largely unmanned or undermanned. They are the only ones who can come with regards to civil matters. In this case, if there's a conflict in a local government that is disrupting constitutionally approved days of the election process. Or now that we're beginning to see that the presidents or the governors in their own wisdom invites the military to come and join in trying to settle all of this. That's the only means we can do it. So the peace accord will happen. Whether we're held liable or not, it's a different thing altogether. But the thing that needs to be done will be done. Because also the international community are watching us. The national communities are watching us. Remember, when we talk about the whole idea of election observers, we have both local and international. And so even the local ones are watching and taking notes and saying, okay, come, if this is what's happening in this place, it means the election was not free, fair, and credible. Those are the three languages that we'll begin to hear when election period starts. Free, fair, and credible election. So was the election free? Was it fair? Was it credible? Did the results reflect what people voted? So let's just do our best. I don't want to lie to anybody and say if they sign a peace accord, if anybody does not follow it, thunder will strike the person and the person will die. We know that that might not be the case. But the fact is that a step has been taken in the right direction. There's conflict in that area. They've been on a round table or a town hall meeting. They said we should sign a peace accord. A peace accord has been signed. It now behoves on the politicians to speak to their own people or their followers to stick to the peace accord and ensure that there is no violence so that the election can be free, fair, and credible, as the case may be.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll take another one from the chat box. This is from Bagudu Shein Enoch. My question is, in the complexity and dynamic of Nigerian politics, what can we do to minimize current case of character assassination among politicians and their followers on social media in the name of campaign? Did you get that, sir?
Yes, I got it. My people. Just like the first person spoke about fake news, character assassination will never stop. Even if we read 2019. Why? Because in the marketplace, while you are trying to sell your own goods, another person is trying to demarket you. We just talked about it largely when we said you come to the orange market, there are a million sellers of orange, but only one person is selling. Why is the person selling? Then there's one particular person in his own shop. He's beautiful, he's fine, but nobody ever buys from him. Does it mean he's not selling well or he does not have anything in his shop? No. So a whole lot of things happen in the marketplace. Your own is, what is the narrative you are putting out? Ethically, responsible, following due process. Are you putting that information out? Are people seeing it? Are they understanding it? Then continue. And so if they continue to assassinate your character, whether on social media or doing news reportage on the major dailies or doing newspaper publication or using cartoons, you can't stop it. Everybody has your own right. Like they say, my rights start where your own stop. And so we cannot say, the person should not say Kevin is a liar. This entire class was rubbish. He's entitled to what he wants to speak about. It's not left for you to now say, okay, let us fact check the fact whether Kevin lied through the presentation. Or we have a gubernatorial debate and the governor is saying things and then we're fact checking and like, sir, please, it's not true. We have only 36 wards in Odigbobo local government. Or we only have 7 districts in this particular state. Or we only have 24 wards in that particular area in which you are running for local government chairman. So these are the things that we call about the fact checking. So the character assassination will continue to happen. But yours is you that they are assassinating your character. If somebody wants to get official information about you, is there where they can get it? Is there a website? Is there official social media handles? Or are there programs that you have put out in the past that people can go and pick and check and say, oh, this man that they are talking about is not true. From what I've seen about this man, what I've heard about this man, what I've spoken or what I've seen about this man, it's not possible that he will be of this character. So That is the only way to manage it. But I can tell you that character assassination will never stop, especially from followers. Sometimes even these big guys do not even know what is happening. It's the followers that are busy casting stones and hitting each other all over on different platforms, talking as if they are speaking on behalf of their principal. So that is one of the concepts that may come to play when we talk about the whole idea of character assassination.
Okay, Atan Nelson. Atan Nelson, you can unmute and ask your question. I've asked you to unmute. If Ata is not there, we'll take Nnamdi Okechukwu. Nnamdi Okechukwu, you can unmute.
All right, thank you very much, our moderator. Good evening, class. My question is this, sir. You spoke about the means of communication, and my question is as regards to the local government. Take, for instance, I want to run for the post or the position of a councillor, and in my constituency, we do not have any viable means of communication. To start with, we do not even have a stable network reception. We do not, in fact, you can't even access any of the social mediums that you have elaborated in the class. What other means of communication can one explore in terms of electioneering campaigns, in terms of engagements? Because there's a place for speaking to your constituents one-on-one and all of that, but exploring the social media space, showcasing what you want to do, these people don't even have access to all of those tools that we've mentioned. That is for the local level, and this is a challenge for most of our rural areas. So what is the way forward if you find yourself in such situation? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. So you brought a question and you answered it. And luckily for us, you chose a lower level of analysis, which is local government. If you are running for a local government, a post in local government, you obviously need to be in that local government. I'm in Abuja presently. And so imagine that someone running for Amak constituency in Abuja, but lives in Suleja. Does it make any sense to you? It doesn't make any sense. And so if you live in Amak, luckily for us here in Amak in Abuja, they have good roads, they have portable drinking water, they have electricity to a large extent, they have hospitals, and then a good number of people are using social media. So obviously, you can explore social media as one of the options to showcase your information. Remember, I did not say as the only, as one of the options. And so if you now go back to, let's say, Kogi State now, let me use my state as an example, where in the Ibadan local government, we have poor roads, minimum lights, power, basic amenities are close to zero. If you want to campaign there, obviously you will move to the traditional options or the cultural options of showcasing information, which starts from the easiest one as much as what we call supporters or canvassers or chairmen or ward level representatives of your campaign, using word of mouth, door to door, printing flyers, or doing a banner and putting in select locations, or whenever it's a market day, your team come there and everybody's wearing white shirt and black trouser, or one white shirt and short knicker, or everybody's not wearing slippers because you're trying to create yourself with a distinct, unique option so everybody can see. So the entire concept of communication is not fixed in one pattern. Yes, this class we're talking about social media, but that does not mean that should you want to get across to people in a location where they don't have social media, you will not believe your hands are tied. No, that's not the case. Your hands are not tied. You go ahead and then be fluid with the matter. Who exactly are the people you want to speak with? If you are trying to push a bill concerning market women, I don't expect you to be in one plaza sitting down and trying to put a document together. I expect you to be in the marketplace with women, speaking with women, trying to understand what their appeal are, what are their problems, what are their grievances, And based on that, now you go back and then you put a bill. We have a bill to ensure that Kurudu market is upgraded. They have sanitary services. They have this, they have that. The abattoir is well sanitized and taken away from the market so that blood that is spread is, so you need to be very fluid in these things. Do not fix yourself to the only basic concept of communication. The people you are trying to reach is what determines the medium you are going to use to showcase your information. That should be that's the summary of it. The people you want to reach will determine how you are going to reach them. If they don't have lights in that area, then you need to explore cultural means, which is door-to-door, word of mouth, town hall meetings, sharing of flyers. If they have lights, they have internet, they have data, then you can explore this and also add the cultural options of using door-to-door, word of mouth, sharing of flyers, and canvassers to be able to get more followers to follow you on your journey. Next question, please.
Okay. The next person, Otta Nelson.
All right. Thank you so very much, and good evening.
Good evening, sir.
All right. Thank you so very much. Please, my question is, should at any point lies be a strategy, a political strategy, be it for national or security interest? So what's the line between ethics, communication, and politics? That's the question. I don't know if you got me.
No, I didn't get it because you brought light and you now said
yes, I'm saying, should at any point lies be introduced as a political strategy, be it for national interest, be it for security interest? Should it be accepted in the course of communication? So I'm asking, what's the line between ethics, communication, and politics?
Okay, so the fact that they all have different names shows that there are different things in their diet. But what are we trying to put out? The whole idea of white lie and black lie, right? If I understand you well. Unfortunately for us is the main things that will come into perspective is what exactly is the truth of the matter? How are we balancing that particular truth, however persuasively? Or in that particular subject matter, what is of paramount interest? Is it maintaining the trust between the election management body and the constituents, or the trust between the politician and the people? Or is that particular subject matter what they are trying to do an attempt to manipulate the people so that they'll be easy to manage in front? Or you are trying to sway their ideas such that they do not hold you so accountable, as the case may be. So remember I talked about ethics in communication, ethics of political holders or political politicians, ethical responsibility. So these are the things that you need to put in place. Luckily for us, we have means in which we can devise and understand these things. Like for all of you here in this class now, I do not expect someone giving us a white lie will be enough for them to dismiss you with regards to a conversation, be it in a gubernatorial debate or in an official campaign page, and they are saying something about someone or they are saying something about their party whatsoever, and you just agree hook, line, and sinker. No, we believe that you people that are in this class now are such that you're educated and you can challenge judgment. You can question authority. You can be able to hold people accountable. And so when they are bringing a white lie that is not making sense, you might as well put your hands in their face and say, come, you are not saying the truth. If this is what you want to do, tell us you want to do this and say it with your full chest, like say in Nigeria, as against trying to lie. So yes, ethics, communication, there's a whole lot. It's a complete interplay, but we have the responsibility to manage all of it. Or else the entire country will be in chaos, if I'll use that language. But lies will always happen. We all know the issues of national interest. We cannot tell you that we have bombed all the bandits in so and so location. We have to tell you that we only bombed 2, so that the rest that are there, thinking the rest are outside, come out. So there's a whole lot of things involved in communication. And in many cases, the whole idea of national interest is always explored when they want to hide a thing or two. But we all know better now these days. But I can assure you that so long as we have regulatory bodies in place, so long as we have professionals practicing those basics, so like in case communication professionals and not work journalists as the case may be. So long as we have professionals there, and then there's ethics and rules of behavior, all of this will be minimized. Let's take the law profession, for example. There are things you cannot say as a lawyer. There are things you cannot present in court as a lawyer. There are ways and patterns you cannot even introduce yourself in the law court, or there's some particular lexicons you cannot use when you are speaking to the judge. You know, so in that light, you finish law, you left law, you went to law school to make yourself an even better learned person. Then you now start practicing law. You know, so it's a whole lot, and we all have the tools, and we are responsible for ourselves alongside the institutions that will make sure things get better. But for whatever reason anybody's saying anything, what we need to do is look at it with a deeper eye and see whether they're trying to balance truth, or are they seeking just to maintain trust, or are they trying to manipulate us into whatever it is they're trying to do by telling us this particular half-truth, or are they trying to manage us so that we'll not hold them to accountable when they come and say that the budget is 25.6 billion, and then later on we see blueprints and documents come in and say actually the budget was actually 30 something or something trillion, when they've come on TV and told us 28 billion. So where did the differential come from? Was it in padding from the National Assembly, or from some people somewhere else, or was it the president or the presidency that padded? And then because they are the one running everything, after they say 28 billion on TV, they might as well go and continue with 38 billion on paper until somebody comes and check using the Freedom of Information Act to question the documents and now review it and now say, oh, CEO, this is what was actually released. Like as in the case now. So a whole lot relies on us. At least when you see that there are NGOs now that are doing fact checking, you know, from Hamza Lawal's Dubawa to so that people, you know, they are all checking things and bringing information out. And so when they are saying the budget for, or budget and tracker, that's why two people are trying to remember. You know, so these are NGOs that took the headache by themselves, while me, I'm here sitting down in the confines of my home. Some people are outside there digging the constitution, digging the budget to look at what is there. How on earth will you put 3 billion for solar for two local governments that are just 5 kilometers? Even with 100,000 each for each solar panel, if we spend 1 million, it means nobody will walk on the ground because the entire ground will be filled with solar panels. So you now go and put 1 billion. So you know already it's not realistic. And then it calls or it begs for questioning. Who exactly put this budget? Because it means there's an attempt to steal, or as policemen will call it, there's an attempt, there's a fraudulent, I've forgotten the language the policemen will call it, but there's obviously something to check, because it's not jiving. Let me use that general balance word. It's not jiving. So I hope I answered your questions.
Okay, thank you, sir, for that. Daniel AC, you can unmute.
Okay.
Daniel
Thank you
AC.
very much. Thank you very much. Good evening, sir. Thank you for such a wonderful, colorful, and enlightening class. Please, my questions are just simple, and though I have 3 of them, I'll go through them quickly. They are short. The first question is, you spoke about regulators. So I want to ask, how do we regulate the regulators so that they don't lead us into tyranny? You know, the media regulators. Then my second question is, please, sir, can you throw more light into how propaganda ties into election campaigns, like on social media? And finally, sir, in your opinion, do you see social media and citizen journalism replacing mainstream traditional media and journalism? Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, so let me start from the last. Whether we like it or not, the country and the world is advancing. Even if Nigeria is not catching up in the jet age or space age as much as we should, things are happening. As simple as us using Facebook now, we have Meta. And so if someone is saying something in a WhatsApp group and the person is lying and you want to check, you don't need to go far, just type at Meta AI. Please, how many local governments are in Nigeria? And Meta AI will just drop the information for you. And how is Meta AI getting that information? is because somebody has taken their time out to put the information somewhere, a repository or a database somewhere online. And so it is that database that Meta AI goes to pick from and now showcase the information to you. So imagine that the person that is putting the information of the knowledge base or the database put something wrong. Meta AI will drag something wrong and feed you. And so, yes, social media, citizen journalism, we all have phones. We all, if something happens, 1,000,001 people are already taking pictures and videos, and they have 2 MB, they are posted online. So everybody has their own role to play. And so, being that information is moving from source to receiver, there's a channel. Social media is one, run largely by citizen journalists and professional journalists. And so, however it goes, information is being showcased and people are reviewing and seeing it. So we can go ahead with that. You understand? So those are the things that we need to think about. So you cannot remove social media and say it will no longer have its own place, or you cannot say we should stop citizens journalists. No, everybody has their own right to do whatever they want to do, and so to continue to hold place. So what you are supposed to do now is, if they are bringing up fake news, you fact check it and make sure that it is true. If it is a lie, you call their bluff and say what you are saying is a lie. Next question is propaganda and election campaigns. You are using languages that are familiar in the election process. There will always be propaganda. There will always be campaign of calumny against opposition. What you need to do is control the narrative. We spoke about it earlier. And so, if I'm running for presidency, what do I need to do? I need to control the narrative of my candidacy. I don't want someone come to tell me that I'm from Kaduna State when I'm actually from Kogi State. And so we see even in Western democracies, you see when an Indian wins a role in the UK, and then some people are chancing him and saying, no, he's not a true native. He's not a real American. He's an immigrant. Whatever language you want to do, control your narrative. Let it be out there that this is who you are, this is what you stand for, and this is what you are doing with regards to what you are pushing for. New York had an election, and Cuomo did not win, a former New York mayor. Who won? A younger guy who had ties and then was able to connect with the younger people in New York. And then he got the highest votes, albeit if you want to call it government of the mob, but he had the highest numbers and he won. So it's very simple. Control the narrative of what you stand for and then showcase it. Where some people are there busy doing fake news and propaganda with regards to what you are saying, it's none of your business. Face your front and pursue that objective, strictly having your strategic framework in your social media usages or how you showcase your information, and you follow on. Then lastly, how do you regulate regulators? Okay, so let's not lie to ourselves. The best we can do in holding people accountable is by speaking out. Yes, we also know that, like Animal Farm, he who pays the piper dictates the tune. And so if I'm the president and I'm the one that appoints the INEC chairman, it means the INEC chairman actually reports to me. The remaining part is your own answer. Will he be truly independent or dependent? Or I am so and so position, but my budget to do my job is as approved by a politician. And so whether I'm a technocrat and I'm trying to play my own role as much as I want to be, if I'm not part politician, I'll have a challenge. And so you see where MDAs go to the National Assembly to what we call this language, to defend their budgets. And they ask you, where are your tools? And then the person points to his laptop and to his books. You know that in that space, when they are saying, where are your tools? We are saying, so with the laptop, the papers and everything, where are the brown envelopes or the Ghana must goes? Because you should be able to know how to persuade the people by other means should you want to achieve. So see, this class, we're not trying to lie to each other. We're in Nigeria together. There's a limit to which you want to stick to what you want to do and you achieve a thing or two. And so if you are not fluid, or if you are too rigid, a lot of things will not come by. And that is why political communication is for you to read the room. When you read the room, you know what to do. And so if INEC is saying things or behaving in a way that is not supposed to, civil societies will come out and will do a protest. Or civil societies We'll petition the international or the petition International Criminal Court or Crimes Tribunal. You know, so there are many ways that we can also speak out that our actions will be as though it's a check to the regulator. Or you say, come, why is that only this particular media house that's continuously banned and banned and banned? They have not even been able to operate. You now remember that the owner of the station is a former friend of this man. And because they fought over a piece of land, they are no longer together. So now that this one is president, he wants to frustrate the other guy out of business. So you should be able to read the room. So they are different. That's why they say they are non-state actors. Non-state actors include civil societies, NGOs, pressure groups, organizations, societies. We all have different roles to play. And so if Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria or INEC is not doing well, we come out and call their bluff, go on TV, go on air to use the same social media or mass media, TV, and say, come, INEC is not doing their job. How will you put voter registration for 2 weeks? And you want 20 million people to register under 2 weeks. And it's like when they are registering for votes, they work 24 hours. Or we can register to vote either remotely, online, or something. If it's fiscal, then there's no way you can tell me that 2 million people can register under 2 weeks. You know, so by the time we come out as civil societies and question all of this, we are in some cases or putting a means to regulate the regulators. I hope I was able to answer your questions. We are our ladies in the house. No, we don't have ladies asking questions today.
I actually don't know why they are quiet.
Okay.
Okay, so before we get
understanding everything.
Maybe they are attending the Senate hearing.
Okay, I see Chidebere, good job. When I ran for councillor, I used social media, town crier, flex banners, canvassers, campaign teams in various polling units, flyers and public address system, and door-to-door team to showcase this information. Good job. Good job. Okay, using Wiki as an example.
Let's have John Mark. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, Don, go ahead.
Okay, John Mark. Can you unmute and ask your question? John Mark, hello. Okay, if he's not there, let's have Camille. Camille Adiniran.
Yeah, good evening, moderator.
Camille, okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, thanks for the wonderful speaker. Yeah, my question is that why is the transparency important in political communication, and how can it be ensured, most especially when dealing with people at grassroots level like market women and others? Thanks.
So, talking about transparency, we are talking about the whole idea of trust and the level of information you are trying to showcase or withhold, as the case may be. And so in politics, obviously, it's a game of trust. It's a game of numbers. It's a game of psychology. And so we are talking about market women, and you want to sway the market women votes to your side. Take, for instance, you're running for government. Then you need to come and speak their language or make things easy for them, as the case may be. And so you come and you're still lying to them. In that case, you're obviously not going to get their votes. Talking about transparency. So I think it's an open and closed case. The people you are going to meet, you need to earn their trust, you need to earn their attention, so that when you are speaking, they are understanding you, they are selectively attentive to you, they are retentive to the information you are putting out, and then you have a system in place to ensure that that information you are putting out continues to hit their faces daily. Imagine if you are going on a way from X to Y, and there's a poster there saying, vote this guy, vote this guy, vote this guy, and you see it every single day when you are going to work and when you are coming back. Obviously, you should find out who is this guy. I need to find out who this guy is and why they are telling me to vote him, or why I will not vote for him, or why I will not even show up for the election, as the case may be, because that's what we talk about, the idea of voter empathy. But that's not the conversation we're having for today, which that's the confusion, because voter empathy is a serious matter that needs to be managed, because the more we do not vote, the more we do not come out to vote, the bad guys will continue to come out in their numbers, and then they'll win the elections, as the case may be. So somebody mentioned.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Somebody mentioned continuous appearance, and he was trying to use the Honorable Minister. Using Wiki as an example, is regular appearance in media or public engagement a healthy communication practice, either in politics or not? So it's simple. Everybody has their communication strategy. Everybody has their communication strategy. And so if my communication strategy does not suit you or does not appeal to you, it's none of my business. It's what I want to do that is what I want to do. And then so long as within the ambit of the law. So if he's appearing and making continuous appearances, is he within the law? Is he within the confines of the terms of reference of his role as the Minister of the Federal Capital? Then if it is, then, and then he has a budget for it, then please go ahead, because it's not like those presentations are free. The media houses will not just up and broadcast your program live on their channel without you paying for it. So money is going around after all. The banners you are seeing at the back of the minister did not appear there. Somebody had to design it, somebody had to print it. There's a PA system, someone had to bring generator, there's lights. Somebody had paid for light to be there to be used. So long as it's within the ambits of the law and in terms of reference of his leadership, he should be able to do what he wants to do, so long as those are in place. And so everybody has their own strategic leadership. We know that the former FCT minister was not much of a talker, as in this case now, if you are putting both of them side by side. So they all played their different roles and they're all using their own leadership styles as they want to. So he's entitled to his leadership style however he wants to put it, so long as it's within the ambits of the law and in terms of reference of his position, as the case may be. We have another comment.
Okay, we have. Okay. So I think let's take Abdul Ahad. Abdul Ahad. Dalhad. Please, you can unmute. Abdul Ahad. Are you there? I've asked you to unmute. Okay, I think if he's right not now, there, yes.
In the absence of
go ahead.
Before you force people to make questions or comments, you don't remember that this class is such that you can always relate with your class group to present your question to the facilitators at any time. You have our you should be able to send this information to your coordinators, and the information will get to us and we can answer them. If you don't have questions at this moment, you have later, please feel free to share with us.
Okay, so I think we have Abdul Ahad. Please, Abdul Ahad, go ahead.
Please go ahead.
Okay, my question is first of all, I want to actually appreciate this because I've learned a lot. It's something that I've never expected. And my question is very basic. What sticks to me is I read George Orwell saying political language is designed to make truth, to make lies sound truthful, matter respectable, and the appearance of wind. And give appearance of wind as the pure solidity, or the pure solidity to the appearance of wind. So, and you talk about persuasion in political language and in political communication, whereby a politician has to know what to tell, what to tell the audience what they want to hear. So I was like, how would we moderate such persuasion in the way that we at the same time remain honest?
Okay, so false appearances as real. George Orwell spoke in his light. Beautiful. But we need to know that, just like the person talked about ethics, when the person talked about ethics and communications in politics, there are basic things that are underpinnings in these actions. And the person trying to balance truth, the person trying to maintain trust, or is just trying to manipulate the people. All of these things are things that we hold and we understand. And so if someone is lying to us, we know. If the person is not lying, we can fact check and confirm whether the truth is 50% or 60% or 90% or 100%. So most of the onus of all of this lies with us. Things will always happen in the ecosystem of politics because it's not such an environment where you can regulate everything. Take, for instance, expenditure in politics. A senator should not spend more than 50 million in his campaign. But me and you know that there are some people that when you see their campaign already, you know that they've spent 1 billion. But how does INEC check? There's no system in place for INEC to go and confirm that this is Kevin Akode's account and he only spent 50 billion for the election, because my friend can come and donate 20 cars and that is not quoted as an expenditure or a line item under the expenditure. And so if another person who is my opponent comes and he buys 100 cars, we already know that the clock is tilting in his favor because he has bought 100 cars. If another person comes and buys 200 cars, it now tilts to the other guy's favor. So a whole lot of things take place in the environment of politics. We just pray that we continue to have the leaders that suit us, the leaders that can help us, the leaders that can emancipate the welfare of the citizenry and be of overall good. Because whether we like it or not, Nigerian politics is largely equated with politics. And so it's a game of who has the highest money wins. And if that's what happens, then it means if the good guys don't have money, then they will never win anything. Or if the good guys don't have money and then the people that don't have money are not plenty, it means our voices will continuously be drowned because the good guy, the bad guys have money and all that. So it's a whole lot. It's not a fixed concept, which is what we're trying to educate yourself. You need to be fluid and on the go. The objective is one: a better citizenry, a better person, a better Nigeria, a better local government. Anything that stifles all of these actions, we need to come against it within the ambits of the law and what have you. I think that's the best to which I can answer your question if I understood it clearly.
Okay, I think that, okay, we have one question in the chat. I think Ismail is asking, sir, I would be grateful if you add more on how to update posts and how to make connections on LinkedIn. Thanks.
Okay, so while talking about social media, updating posts first, the first thing is that you need to have these apps on your device. By the time you have the apps on your device, next is creating a profile. When you create a profile, most of these platforms, from the beginning when you create a profile, it gives you a quick rundown of how to do posts on those platforms, you know. And so for Facebook, it will show you to post, it will show you the caption of what's on your mind. That is where you post. And then when you see the icon like a safety pin is where you put attachments of either pictures, videos, or graphics. When you see the music icon, that's the music icon, is where to put audio, you know, or you see the other button in rows and columns where if you select, you can put your pictures to lay like this and like this or sideways, different grid patterns, you know. So all of these platforms, like I said, they have their own governance techniques. Should you want to use it, research into it, and then understand what to do and what not to do. Same with LinkedIn. If you are creating a profile, it tells you to put your name, your email address, where have you worked before, what duration, what exactly did you do as your roles and responsibilities when you occupied that position between 1999 and 2023. I was the MD of this company. I did this, that. Now in 2025, I'm running for office. I plan to do this, that. So you need to research into these platforms. It's not you will not have an easy way into it. Or I will not tell you that this class will give you all the information you need to use and learn with regards to using some particular social mediums and effectively working alongside their governance principles. You also need to put in some work there, sit down, research into these platforms, and then understand better how to use them to the best of your ability, and then to showcase the information you're trying to put out for whatever purpose you want to put out. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I think that will be all the questions we have. So we give you this opportunity, sir, to probably give us your last words before we call it a day.
So, he who says what, to whom, when, where. If you must talk, why should you talk? Who are you talking to? What medium are you using to speak to the persons? If these two concepts are always on the top of your head, your political communication over time will become top-notch. And that is what we want for all members and cohorts of the Electoral College, and as many people that we can influence, whether they join the class or remotely when you are together with them in your confines of your home or your social environment. If you have that, you get better every day. The learning never ends. We are here for you. We're always with you. Feel free to reach us to get or clarify any information. Feel free to reach us on how we can make our work easier in the Electoral College and what have you. So thank you very much for being an attentive class. At least it's not throw bottles at me or handkerchiefs or pure water as they have in the class. So thank you for being good listeners and look forward to meeting you guys soon. Thank you. Moderator, are you there?
Jesus. Okay. Yes, sir, I'm here. I was trying to unmute. Is live.
Okay, I think I'll do the outro on her behalf.
I'm
Thank
sorry,
you, everyone.
I guess she's having some network issues. Thank you so much, Mr. Kelvin. This was an enlightening class and engaging as usual. You're like the big brother of an Electoral College. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right, sir. Okay, class. We will see you again tomorrow for another interesting class. Please, let's make it on time so that we will not keep our facilitator waiting. Okay? And just one more thing, for those of you that still have your numbers and your phone model as your Zoom name, please change it. You have been told that the attendance is automatically generated. So change your Zoom name to the name you want to see on your certificate. Thank you so much for your cooperation and good night, everyone. Moriam, you have the host function. You can end the class, please. Thank you.